From the outside, Sarah Whitfield's life looked ordinary, almost forgettable, in the quiet Atlanta suburb of Brookhaven Pines. Tree-lined streets. Identical mailboxes. Lawns trimmed every Saturday morning. But nothing about Sarah's life had been easy. At 42, she was a part-time real estate agent, working weekends and late evenings, and a full-time mom to her 16-year-old son, Evan. She clipped coupons. She packed lunches. She tracked every dollar in a spiral notebook she kept hidden in the kitchen drawer beneath the dish towels. The notebook had one heading written in neat blue ink. Evan's future. For nearly 10 years, Sarah had been funneling money into a joint savings account, bonuses from house closings, birthday checks, tax refunds, even the spare cash she earned staging homes for wealthier agents. Brad said it was smart planning. Brad always said the right things. He was charming. Clean-cut. A mid-level insurance executive who wore tailored suits and spoke smoothly at church potlucks. "College will be covered," he'd say, kissing her cheek. "You worry too much." Sarah worried anyway. Because she was the one who stayed up late calculating tuition costs. Brad just smiled. The change was subtle. Brad started coming home later. His phone never left his pocket. His smile stopped reaching his eyes. "Client dinners," he said. "Regional meetings. Emergency audits." Sarah nodded. She always nodded. But she noticed things. His shirt smelled like a different laundry soap. He stopped attending Evan's soccer games. He flinched when she touched his phone. One night, while washing dishes, Sarah asked quietly, "Are you happy?" Brad didn't answer right away. Then, of course. Why wouldn't I be? The truth didn't come from Brad. It came on a rainy Tuesday afternoon, when Sarah opened the front door to find a man she vaguely recognized, Ronnie Keller, a former driver from Brad's company. He looked thinner. Older. Exhausted. "I'm sorry to bother you, ma'am," he said. "But I didn't know who else to talk to." Sarah hesitated, then stepped aside. Ronnie sat stiffly at the kitchen table, hands shaking. "They fired me 3 months ago," he said. "No severance. Insurance ran out. I got medical bills stacking up." Sarah listened. "They told me to destroy company expense backups," he continued. "But I didn't. Didn't feel right." He slid a USB drive across the table. "Your husband's name kept coming up." Sarah didn't touch it. "What do you mean?" she asked. Ronnie swallowed. "Apartment rent. Grocery cards. Pediatric visits. Toys. Utilities." Silence filled the kitchen. "He's got another life," Ronnie said softly. That night, after Evan went to bed, Sarah plugged in the USB. Folders. Years of files. Expense reports. Bank transfers. Internal memos. One address appeared over and over. Willow Creek Apartments. 30 minutes away. Sarah stared at the screen until dawn. She didn't cry. Not yet. Sarah drove to Willow Creek the following Saturday. She parked across the street and watched. A young woman, late 20s, maybe, came out holding a little boy's hand. The child had Brad's eyes. The same crooked smile. Sarah pressed her forehead against the steering wheel. Her hands trembled. But she didn't leave. Her name was Lena Morales. Sarah didn't confront her. Instead, she waited weeks, learning schedules, patterns, routines. Then one afternoon, at a playground near Willow Creek, Sarah sat on the bench beside her. "Cute kid," Sarah said casually. Lena smiled. "Thanks. He's 5. Mateo." 5. Sarah swallowed. They talked about school zones. Grocery prices. Atlanta traffic. Then Sarah said gently, "Does Brad still tell you he travels a lot for work?" Lena froze. The truth spilled out in fragments. Brad told Lena he was divorced. Said his ex was unstable. claimed he was saving up to marry her. Lena hadn't known about Sarah. Or Evan. Or the church-going mother. They stared at each other, two women bound by the same man's lies. "I thought I was the only one," Lena whispered. "You weren't," Sarah replied. Brad's mother, Marjorie Whitfield, was a prominent figure at their church. Bible study leader. Fundraising chair. Moral authority. Sarah confronted her, not with anger, but with curiosity. Marjorie sighed. "A man has needs," she said. "And Lena gave him a son." Sarah felt something die inside her chest. "You helped him hide it," Sarah said. Marjorie met her eyes. "For the family's sake." Sarah could have screamed. She could have smashed things. Instead, she planned. Screenshots. Bank statements. Photos. Lena agreed to help. They weren't friends, but they were aligned. Brad had underestimated both of them. Brad's company hosted an annual black tie gala downtown. Executives. Investors. Press. Brad was scheduled to present a quarterly growth slideshow. Sarah volunteered to help with logistics. No one questioned her. "They never do today," Brad spoke confidently on stage. The slides advanced. Then froze. The screen flickered. Suddenly. Bank statements. Apartment photos. Family portraits of Brad, Lena, and Mateo. Gasps rippled through the ballroom. Sarah stood at the back, steady. Brad turned pale. Someone whispered, "Is that his kid?" By morning, Brad was fired. His accounts were frozen. HR launched an investigation. The church removed Marjorie from leadership. Brad begged. Cried. Promised therapy. Sarah filed for divorce. Sarah got full custody. The house. The savings account, every dollar. She launched Whitfield Homes, a boutique realty firm focusing on single moms and first-time buyers. Evan went to college. He thrived as some nights, Sarah sat alone on the porch. She didn't miss Brad. She mourned the man she believed he was. And then, she breathed. And moved forward. The silence after the gala was louder than the night it happened. Sarah woke up expecting chaos, phone calls, reporters, Brad pounding on the door, but instead, there was a strange, hollow quiet. Evan had already left for school. The house smelled like coffee and lemon cleaner. She stood in the kitchen holding her mug, realizing something terrifying and freeing at the same time. No one was telling her what to do anymore. Brad's side of the closet stayed untouched. She didn't throw his things out yet. Not out of mercy, out of control. For the first time, she was choosing the timing. Brad showed up 3 days later. No suit. No confidence. Just a wrinkled button-down and eyes that looked too small for his face. "I made mistakes," he said, standing on the porch. "But you didn't have to destroy me." Sarah leaned against the doorframe. "You destroyed yourself," she replied calmly. "I just stopped lying for you." He reached for her hand. She stepped back. "What about Evan?" Brad pleaded. "You're going to poison him against me?" Sarah's voice stayed steady. "I'm not poisoning anything. I'm telling the truth." Brad left without another word. It was the last time he spoke to her without lawyers. Sarah didn't want Evan to learn from the internet. She picked him up from school early and drove to a quiet park near the Chattahoochee River. They sat on a bench. She told him everything, carefully, honestly, without bitterness. Evan stared at the water for a long time. "He chose another kid," Evan finally said. Sarah shook her head. "No. He chose himself." Evan nodded once. That was it. No tears. No shouting. Just a boy growing up in a single sentence. Lena called Sarah late one night. "They cut his credit cards," she said. "He says he can't help anymore." Sarah closed her eyes. "I'm sorry," she said, and meant it. Lena didn't ask for money. Didn't ask for favors. She just said, "Thank you for telling me the truth." That mattered. Brad's mother didn't apologize. She blamed Sarah publicly, subtle comments at church, whispered judgments. Then someone leaked emails. Emails showing Marjorie helping move money, coaching lies, manipulating Lena. The church elders asked her to step down. For the first time in decades, Marjorie Whitfield had no pulpit. Sarah felt no joy, only distance. Whitfield Homes opened in a tiny office above a nail salon. Sarah worked longer hours than ever, but they were her hours. Her first clients were women like her. Newly divorced. Recently betrayed. Starting over with fear in their pockets. She didn't sell dreams. She sold stability. One afternoon, Sarah reviewed the old savings notebook. Evan's future. She smiled and closed it. The future was already here. Months later, Sarah received a letter from the insurance company. Brad had tried to cash out an old policy using forged documents. The investigation added fraud charges. Sarah forwarded it to her attorney. She didn't read the rest. Sarah didn't date. Didn't rush. She learned to sleep without anxiety. To enjoy dinners alone. To laugh again, unexpectedly, genuinely. Sometimes she still grieved. But grief no longer owned her. One evening, Evan stood in the doorway. "Mom," he said, "I think I'm proud of you." Sarah hugged him. And for the first time since the gala, she cried, not from loss, but relief. In the quiet Atlanta neighborhood, the Whitfield house looked the same. But inside, it belonged to one truth, not two lies. And Sarah, once careful, once quiet, was finally free. 4 years later, the Georgia sun was already warm before noon. Sarah sat in the crowded stadium, folding and unfolding the program in her hands while scanning the rows of caps and gowns. When she finally spotted Evan, taller now, shoulders squared, she felt something loosen in her chest. He waved once. Just once. That was enough. When his name was called, Evan Whitfield, College of Business, honors distinction, Sarah stood with everyone else, but her applause was different. It came from a place that remembered ramen dinners, open houses at night, quiet panic, and faith she didn't know she had. He made it. They made it. Brad didn't attend. Sarah hadn't expected him to. She'd heard, through lawyers and mutual acquaintances, that his life had narrowed. A smaller apartment. Contract work. A reputation that followed him everywhere like a shadow. Sometimes Sarah wondered if Brad ever missed the life he had, or if he only missed the image of himself inside it. She stopped wondering after a while. Some questions don't deserve answers. Lena sent a postcard from North Carolina. She'd gone back to school. Her son was thriving. She wrote, "Thank you for telling me the truth when everyone else thought silence was kinder." Sarah pinned the card to the fridge. Truth had ripples. Whitfield Realty grew, not fast, but strong. Sarah refused shady listings, walked away from manipulative developers, and built a reputation for something rare. Trust. Her clients sent their sisters. Their daughters. Their friends who whispered, "I need someone honest." Sarah became that person. On quiet Sundays, Sarah sat on the porch with coffee, listening to cicadas and wind through trees. Sometimes grief visited, soft, respectful. She let it sit. She mourned the man she thought Brad was. The future she imagined. The version of herself who didn't yet know her strength. Then she breathed, and let it go. One evening, Evan came home with boxes from his apartment. "I got a job offer," he said. "Here. Atlanta." Sarah smiled, tears welling. The house filled again with noise, laughter, late-night footsteps. It wasn't the life she planned. It was the life she earned. Sarah once saved quietly, loved faithfully, and trusted completely. When that trust was broken, she didn't shatter. She rebuilt, with eyes open, hands steady, and truth on her side. And in the quiet Atlanta suburb where everything fell apart, a stronger life finally began.